Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of A Little Something to Whine About with your hosts, Siobhan Camille
and Taya Michelle,
where we whine, W-I-N-E, about life, love, relationships, and more, because sometimes you just need to whine a little. And on today's episode, we will be whining under our Family Chronicles series. You know, we talk about family and parenting and all that good stuff. And we are talking Daddy Issues, our new series, Daddy Issues. And today we'll be talking about being a daddy's girl. So grab your favorite glass of red, white, or rosé and join us on the couch.
The couch, your comfy, cozy couch, the big comfy couch. I used to love that show.
That was a good show.
It was a good show. And I used to get upset every time I watched it because I wanted to be that flexible. As much as I've danced, I was never as flexible as Luna.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
My legs never did what hers could do. I tried several times and my body said, eh. So,
nope, not at all.
Yes. But hello, people. I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful week. It's been a whole 7 days since we've talked to you. Oh, we kind of missed you a little bit. So before we jump into the topic, let's introduce these wines that we're whining on today. Siobhan.
I am back to my whites, people. Tag on it. I am back to the whites. White in here. I am drinking a Pinot Gris from Willamette Valley in Oregon. The vineyard is called Terrapin Cellars, yeah, not really a whole lot on the back of this bottle, so that's not going to be real fun at the end of this when I do my review. It's like a paragraph. It's not even really about the wine. It's about them. But it's all right. It's all right. We're here. It's about the company. It's about the company more than the wine.
Them. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I am also drinking a Pinot Grigio.
Oh, no. Mine is a Pinot Gris. Although I guess Gris is Grigio. Is that the same? Are they the same? I mean, I know they're both gray. One is Italian, one is French. I don't think they're the same. They're not.
I don't think they are either.
No, I have a Pinot Gris, not a Pinot Grigio.
Oh, no. I have a Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, I have a Pinot Gris.
It's made by, and I hope I say this name right. It is Italian. I want to say it's Marceau Canale.
Is that Italian or is it an Italian one?
It's an Italian wine.
Then probably. That sounds about right.
Yay! I think I got it right. Marceau Canale. So this is the wine that I actually had when me and my baby mother, yes, I call my husband's children's mother my baby mother because we're blended. So me and my baby mother, we went to dinner. Oh my goodness, we had so much fun. And we had this wine at the restaurant and I really enjoyed it. So my husband surprised me one day because I was raving about it and he bought me a bottle. So I figured I would introduce it to our fellow winers. So this isn't a necessarily popping grape for me because as Siobhan can see, the bottle is...
It's almost right.
So I definitely enjoyed this wine, but I figured this would be a good one to share with you all. So that's what I am doing.
Okay, so I looked it up. Pinot Grigio versus Pinot Gris. There is a difference. It's the same grape though.
Okay.
So it's the same grape, different wine. Pinot Gris, Pinot Grigio, or Grauburgunder is a white wine grape variety of the species Vitis vinifera, thought to be a mutant clone of the Pinot Noir variety. Y'all know how I feel about the Pinot Noir. It normally
mutant.
And hopefully that helps it out. It normally has a grayish blue fruit, accounting for its name, but the grapes can have a brownish pink to black and even white appearances.
Mm-hmm.
It's originally from France. And the Pinot Grigio is the most popular of the two, is lighter bodied, crisp, clean, and vibrant with citrus flavors.
Yes, it does.
While the Pinot Gris is sweet. This is why we're back to white people. The Pinot Gris, on the other hand, is sweet and has spicy tropical fruit aromas. It generally has low acidity, higher alcohol levels, and a rich texture.
Oh, shoot, I got the wrong one. Then you said higher alcohol levels. Let's go. I'm trying to get lit. I'm just kidding, you guys. I'm just kidding.
So they are based on the same grape, different wine.
Okay, well, that will be our wine fun fact for today. So, jumping right into our wonderful topic of being a daddy's girl. Vocals.
That is a version of a vocal.
Hey, girl, hold up. See, she tested my gangster.
I'm not testing it. Just, you know what?
Me.
You can wow us at karaoke. You don't have to today.
I will. For those who don't know, we have something very, very special coming up around the holiday season. So stay tuned.
We'll see how this goes.
I get my vocals warmed up, you know, like the seagull on the Little Mermaid. But back to
wow,
being a daddy's girl. So if you all have listened to us in any of our previous episodes, you kind of get the gist that we are both spoiled, and our daddy's girls, or have been at some portion of our lives, where it has definitely put a lasting effect into our attitudes, characteristics, and men choices.
That is extremely accurate.
So, Siobhan, tell me, what is one good thing you've experienced about being a quote unquote daddy's girl?
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't 100.
Nope. Anytime she starts, I'm gonna be honest though. Go ahead though. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go on, boo. Go.
I don't really remember 100%. For anyone who listened to the gender roles episode, our first one with the guys, I have a sordid and complicated history with my father. I think I was a daddy's girl up until the age of 8. And once puberty started, the split and divide started. Yeah. But up until that point, I don't really remember a whole lot. I only can really go off what people tell me. I know my mother used to tell me when I was a baby. My mom used to tell me that when I was a baby and a toddler, if she would leave me at, the babysitters or my grandparents' house, I would pretty much be like, bye, everything, see you later. But if my dad dropped me off, I would be like kicking and screaming and no. Like, so I guess that we had that level at one point in time. But again, this is from like baby to toddler age, and I don't remember that. I know we were close. I want to say second and third grade.
But not kindergarten.
Well, I don't really remember. I don't remember kindergarten. I don't really remember first grade. Really, I don't. I remember. I'll say this. I have a few very good memories of my father. One of them was I had a summer camp that I was in, and he came and picked me up around lunch, and we spent the rest of the day. He took me to an amusement park, like just on the random. Okay. That was one good memory. My father was a firefighter, and I remember he took me to the firehouse a couple of times because he had to go pick up his check, all of that. And the other memory I have actually really wasn't even him. It was me and one of his coworkers played ping pong at the firehouse while he was there to pick up the check. So they taught, and I got to slide down the pole, and they saw us play ping pong. They let me honk the horn, because as we were talking last week about raising daughters, when you're that age and you're young, it is, the cute little black girl, the cute little girl, and you get to do all this stuff. I got to do all this stuff.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. And the older you get, don't touch that.
And then the older you get, you become, I don't even know the word for it. He taught me how to drive. I mean, that didn't really end. It didn't end well, but he taught me how to drive when I was 12 in the cemetery, his car. So I appreciate, the effort.
Whoa. In the cemetery?
You couldn't do it on the street. I was 12. Cemeteries ours was big. It was a pretty large cemetery and nobody really went there. Okay. For those who don't know, you live by a college campus. So living by a college campus, you can't quite get the free, parking lot experience.
Oh, I understand, because my first driving experience with my father was reckless, but I just didn't expect cemetery. That's what
it was in the cemetery. But that's for people who don't know me, I actually really like cemeteries. It's a very macabre thing about me. When I had a dog before Roman, and we used to walk, and I could walk her off leash. I used to just walk her around the cemetery. There's just something peaceful to me about cemeteries. It is. And then our cemetery had a lot of deer in it too. So but those are the two. And there's another one, but it's not coming to me right now. But that, I think, going to the amusement park was probably one of the best memories that I had of my father that still lasted. But like I say, I was like 7 or 8 when that happened. So I don't really remember.
I mean, I can understand. And that's where our stories, for those who don't know, they do differ. I am still, to this day, the daddy's girl. No, I am not my father's only girl. Yes, my father spoiled each and every one of us. But I am me. I am he. We are we. If that makes sense. If you can understand what I'm saying. His name is Michael. I'm named after him. So that in itself was boom. My dad is an entrepreneur. He has his own heating and air conditioning company. At a very young age, I did go to a preschool not a preschool, a daycare for a little while, a very, 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 very little while. And after that, I was literally with my father on jobs. I was like, literally, the contractors knew me. When you saw my dad, you saw me. I was his riding partner, to the point where when he actually did sign me up for a preschool or daycare, whatever you want to call it, like, I didn't do the cry thing. I was too mean. I'm gonna just be honest. I used to be mean. Yeah, used to be. I mean, whatever.
Okay.
Look. So it was more so I was upset. I was angry. And one, my dad wasn't having the crying thing. So if anything, it was, I'm not talking to you. I'm going to sit right here until you come pick me up, because this is that and the other. I don't care about nobody in here. I don't like none of y'all. Where's my daddy? And it took me a while to, kind of get out of that. And my dad did that, one, because I will be going to school soon.
Right.
And he knew, no, baby, he got to go to school. So he was doing his prep work, per se. But when I was a baby, everybody would say I wouldn't go to sleep like through the night unless I was laying on my dad's chest. And I think I slept on my dad's chest till I was about maybe 4 or 5. And my dad was like, yeah, you're too big to sleep on me. This isn't appropriate. And I remember having to make that adjustment. Didn't like it, but I made it. I did. And even to this day, it's things that people can say to me, but until it comes from my father, subconsciously, I just don't listen. And yes, it is a problem in my relationship, but we're working through it. Because it's things that my husband can say to me, and I go, yeah, but I don't care, and this is what I feel, and blah, 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 blah. So what? I'll talk to me like, Daddy, let me tell you what he said. And he go, well, Michelle, he's right. And in my head, I'm like, I did not
call you for that.
Need you to agree with him. Like, I am your daughter. What do you mean? Like, you are forever. And one thing, and yes, I still think that way. And my father has never been that type of person. My father has always been the person. He's not going to tell you just what you want to hear. He's never been that guy. I don't know why I still call him sometimes, because I get upset with myself. Why did you call him? You knew he wasn't going to say that anyway. You knew all he going to say is, I do all of that to myself, but I still call my daddy, period. And like I said, my dad will tell me the same thing, and I'll be like, but I listen. Even when it comes to my mom, like I listen to my mom, but my dad can tell me something in a different way, a meaner, straightforward way, because my mother is definitely a gentle soul. And I don't know, it hits me different. And I'm thinking that's because of the relationship from a very young age that we formed. Now, please don't get it twisted. My daddy and I have been through some hell and high water. I don't like you. We definitely hit that phase. Even now, as a grown person, I'd be like, yo, like, yeah, Dad, I'm not with that. But it always comes back. So, I don't know. And it's weird. You know, it's some of those things. You know how when I was looking at an article, you know how when you read an article and you're like, well, typical daddy's girls will have show these signs of X, Y, and Z in a relationship. And I don't do that. I don't think I do that. Do I do that, husband? And he'd be like, yeah. Okay. But I don't believe that where there's a positive stigmatism behind being a daddy's girl, there's a very, very negative connotation that is, to me, is just improper. I think it's looked at wrong. I mean, what you think? That's just my thoughts. And it might be because I'm close, you know, it might be hitting home for me. What you think, Siobhan?
I think there's always an extreme. I think there's always an extreme to anything. And so anything can become a negative, even if it starts off as a positive.
That is very true.
So, or neutral even. Can anything to the extreme can become a negative. To your question about good or bad. And I mean, I know they say that about, you know, mama's boys or daddy's girls have negative connotations. And I think it's just people take them to the extreme. I also think part of that is it can be threatening to people who who really don't have your best interest at heart. Let me say it like this. If you're a daddy's girl, then that means you have a male influence that's going to protect and provide and defend you at all costs, any cost. And a lot of girls, especially, let's be real, in the Black community and all of these deadbeat dads out here, don't have that, which make them easy targets for men, boys, males with bad intentions. So a female girl, woman who has her father around, you can't do all that. The stuff that you can do or try to do to a female who doesn't have a father figure, and I'll say father figure, because it doesn't even necessarily have to be her father. It can be an uncle. It can be a grandfather. It can be a godfather. It can be, you know, her mom's boyfriend, depending on how long he's been around. Without that male protection, become easy targets. And I feel like that's where I think a lot of them, oh, you a daddy's girl. Which is basically, oh, I can't screw you over. No, you can't. Oh, well, I'm not going to apologize.
layer of protection around you. I think for those of us who do, like you said, who do have that, you are absolutely correct in that. They're for the good ones, because I know with being a daddy girl, 9 times out of 10, you're talking about the good fathers, the good influences. They talk to us and they get us hip to game. Oh, my daddy had me hip to game for a minute, like to the point where like I said, I used to be around my father so much. Back in the day, my father was a guy. You know, he was out in them streets.
He was a Rolling Stone.
That's an understatement. I told anybody, Papa was a Rolling Stone is an understatement. My daddy was something else. But
a boulder rolling down.
Look, hey, an avalanche, okay?
Papa was an avalanche.
Look, so, but with that, he still took care of us all, including the women and their children. So that's another reason why I'd be like, yeah, that's like my brother, because again, my father was involved with a lot. And what changed him was what I said, not what anyone else said. We went someplace and I was like, oh, I ain't gonna be stupid. My daddy talks to me, he tells me things. My daddy got 3 girlfriends. And my dad said when he heard me say that, immediately he slowed down. He stopped. He cut people off. He got it together. He said, because while I was at an age, a very, very young age, I was probably about 4 or 5, a very young age. I might have been younger than that. And I recognized this, and I was able to, and this was the part, I was able to articulate it. That got to him, because what he didn't want is for me to think that is what's supposed to happen. A man is supposed to be this, and you are supposed to accept
on the weekend.
Yeah, hey, your man is my man, and my man is yours, and hers, and hers, and hers. And my father was like, no. So that, and he says it all the time, his children made him grow up. And as an adult who had now in my 35 plus years, who has a 16-year-old, I can understand. Yes, because Malachi definitely made me grow up. I would definitely probably be a completely different person had my son not been here. Yup.
I mean, I knew you back. I knew you. So I'm not going to contest that. I'm going to get silent and let that be my amen.
And I think that's what happened. So with that happening to me, I can understand why guys, when they see another male figure, they go, oh, wait, I have to find a different way. I have to find a different way to try to, get what I want, quote unquote, or manipulate, or, play the game. Because I think with being around those positive male figures, those daddies, girls, a lot of times we are more hip to some of the stuff. Again, that's if the dad is doing I'm gonna teach you, and and not baby you, because I do feel like there are some daddies, girls that are just dumb.
And those are the ones who, I think it depends on the male influences in your life and what they consider or how they value you as their daughter. Because you have the fathers or the paternal influences, male influences that will teach you the game. And you also have the daddy's girls who just pamper and spoil and buy and buy and buy. And my daughter is a princess. And so now this girl who is a daddy's girl, technically, but her thought of what love is or how a man should treat a woman is, oh, he just got to buy me monetary. It's monetary. It's what can you get me? Oh, he got me this. I can do that. And then that's how those types of daddy's girls get manipulated in a lot. I also had a quote once that we're going to put up in the wall that says, a father's job is to teach his daughter how a lady should be treated.
Right.
That is the responsibility. And I will also say, I acknowledge, the daughters or the girls whose fathers are dead, but the brother stepped in.
Yep.
Or the uncle stepped in. Like I didn't have, like I say, come 8 years old, third grade, there was a wedge. Puberty put a wedge there. By middle school, it basically, and part of this is because, as I said before, my father and I were a lot of the same person. And so I got his combat. Like I got the don't back down, don't say like you want to go to war, we go into war, we going toe to toe, let's do it, let's go. And that included him. Like we went back and forth a lot. But what happened around middle school was my brothers came in. I had, and I've said this before, and I will say it again, I had a lot of male friends. And my male friends, in high school, definitely, and somewhat in middle school, it bothered me that you don't see me as a girl. I think that's probably one of the best things that could have happened because my relationships with them stayed innocent. My relationships with them stayed platonic. And a lot of them taught me a lot of stuff. Also in the same vein, my father's generation is different. Like, yeah, game is still a lot the same, but now I'm seeing it from my actual brothers running it on girls, telling me about what they've done, or I'm sitting around in a group full of 4 or 5 guys, and this used to happen a lot, 4 or 5 guys having conversations about females, and I'm just like, so that's how y'all feel?
That's how you really feel?
No, right. I mean, you cool. Like, we not talking about you. I mean, clearly, but that's really how you feel.
That's what you think.
That's what you think. So my perspective of guys my own age, my actual peers, the people who, when I started dating or was going to start dating, were more than likely the type I'm gonna be around, being that observant and having all these brothers and brother figures, I was hip to a lot of stuff, which is why, and I know the husband says this about me, you, Eureka, all of us, it's come up, oh, y'all dudes, oh, y'all guys. And honestly, I take that as a compliment because in many ways to me, I'm like, but you got to respect me. So if the alternative is, and I guess that's part of what it comes down to, is in this day and age, also a lot of men in general don't really respect women because they're not shown how to do that. You only respect men. You only respect each other. You respect the person who's going to come at you. Like I saw the Wonder Years. I guess they're remaking it, redoing it with a black cast. But I saw the trailer and there was this girl who put this boy in a headlock on the bus and these other 2 boys were watching it.
And one of the noble was like,
I dig it.
Yeah, he was like,
I dig it
about her. I was like, that's hilarious. Oh, I wish I had. TV, okay, we'll talk about TV nostalgia a whole nother day because that's TV had me thinking some other things. Okay? Like,
but that's why I say I think for me, I still got that, the male influence, but my male influence just didn't come from my dad. It came from my brothers and it came from my uncle. It came from my brother, my dad's brother, who actually lives in Texas, my Uncle D. Hey, Uncle D. Because he was, even in Texas, what I would have wanted my father to be. My father was very lax. I remember asking my father one time about a boyfriend I had, and he was like, I mean, if you like him, okay. And I remember telling my uncle, I asked my cousin, who was my uncle's actual daughter. And she was only 2 years younger than me. I think I was like 15 at the time. And I was like, oh, Bree, do you have a boyfriend? And he was like, she ain't got no boyfriend. And you ain't got one either. And I was like, how you gonna tell me I'm all the way in and you ain't got no boyfriend in New York? I was like, I have a whole boyfriend. Well, how does my brother feel about that? I'm like, he doesn't say anything. I'm a talk to my brother about that then. And I remember my prom, well, I didn't go to prom, but I remember my senior year, he was like, oh, you got prom this year, don't you? And I was like, yeah. He was like, I'm gonna come up with the Buick and my shotgun. When is it? And I was just like, I'm not going. And he was like, well, why are you not going to the prom? You should go to the prom. I said, you just said you coming up there with a shot. Uncle Dexter, make it make sense. What? But that was what I had wanted that I didn't. I got that from my uncle. And to this day, and I said this in another episode, my dad's dead, whatever, to me. My uncle is my heart. Like, my uncle is my rock. Like, I've talked to, like, me and Boo Friend had this conversation. And if I was ever going to jump the broom, go down an aisle, sign of anything, my uncle would be there. Like, he and I have always had, I've always felt more of that. He had more of a, what I wanted in a father, that protector thing. My brother schooled me to the game. My uncle gave me more of a protector vibe. And I mean, my father did the provider thing. So I got, you know, all parts of what a father should be, just in different pieces
of me. Okay.
But as you said, so I think that that's what does it to me for dating. So let me ask you this question before I go my side.
Okay.
How do you think your relationship with your father influenced your relationships, your romantic relationships, either in dating or
a whole lot. And I say a whole lot because, like I said in the other episode, before I had my son, I was attracting trash and attracting trash to the point where, like, I knew, like, I know that you know that I'm not going to say yes to you asking me. We both know this. Why are you over here? That. So I was like, what is going on? And I would ask my father, and my father would be like, look, I'll be honest with you. What you doing? When you out in these streets, what you doing? And that's the one thing I could always depend on my dad for, that honest, like, mirror, that honest reflection, that honest, all right, I ain't gonna tell you what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear. And my father was tough. He is tough. So he is not a sugarcoater in any pieces of the word, to the point where sometimes it's damn near harsh. You're like, well, damn, Daddy, I feel like you don't love me. Like, I'm your daughter. Like, if you would say this to me, God forbid, a stranger on the street comes up. Like, what? But I could definitely always depend on him to give me the honest opinion to do what's what. But it influenced my relationship especially when, because it was one point I rebelled against it. I rebelled against being a daddy's girl. I didn't want to talk to nobody like my father. I didn't want to talk to nobody who had the same name, even to the point. And to go to show you life, the person who I end up having a child by, him and my father have the same name. The person who I had my child by, me and my child's father's mother have the same name. Yeah, it's a whole thing. So the more I tried to rebel against it, the more it was something that pulled me back to a reference of my father, to the point where inadvertently, without my knowledge or consideration, you know how they say, oh, well, children marry.
Oh, I knew you married the husband. I knew that. I don't know how you didn't see it, but I saw it.
I didn't.
I saw it.
I feel like I saw certain characteristics, which is what attracted me to him. The provider, the person who was going to be there, the supportive person, like the family guy, like that part. And that's what my father is. The person that will go out here and get it. Like, I'm not going to, if by any means necessary, my family is going to have he's that guy. And that's the type of person my husband is.
Yes.
So that part, and that's why I say, yes, it influenced, because I found that in my spouse. However, the asshole side.
You just didn't see that. The rest of us did.
My father, my husband has as well.
Yep.
To the point where sometimes I look at my husband and I question if he is my father's child and not me. And for me to say that, that's a whole thing. Because on my dad's side of the family, like, my nickname is Nikki. I was not Michelle until I got about 11, 12 years old, my name was Mickey. Like if I go to North Carolina right now, they're going to call me Mickey. They're not going to call it. It doesn't happen. It doesn't. I only had my lovely auntie is the only person who really called me Michelle my entire life. And that's because it's her middle name.
So that was ego. That ain't really have nothing to do with you. That wasn't really about you.
But that's like my favorite auntie, like my favorite. Yeah, it definitely had a huge, and again, it could have, I truly think it was subconsciously. Did I know my father, my husband had a butthole side to him? Absolutely. Did I know it was to the extent of, it's times where I look at my husband and go, my name is not Patricia. The way my mama would react, it's not the way I'm going to react, Michael. Like legit. So, and sometimes that's a big hiccup in us because, yeah, I am Mickey Jr. and he has Mickey tendencies. So Mickey and Mickey, that's a heck of a combination.
Yep.
But there's love there, and we fuss and fight, but we almost 7 years in. It's been a rough one, but look, we make mama, we making it, you know, by the grace of God. But yeah, it definitely influenced, and I think it always will. Like, I think that my children, especially my girls, they're going to look for something similar to their father as well. Layla is truly a daddy's girl, period. And yes, that's a big thing. Jayla, I feel like she's going to look for someone with her father's characteristics, but maybe a little quirky, a little nerdy. And again, this is just what I see from their personalities. I could definitely be wrong, but I definitely think that is something that happens to us all. And I think even that can go to an extreme, because where I found someone that was like my father, my quote unquote full-blooded sister went and found someone that was completely the opposite from our father. And watching that relationship made me go, nope. I'd rather deal with someone like my father than to deal with that. Because that I can't do. So I think it could have either a positive or negative depending on that relationship you actually have with your father.
I think that also depends on the person, though, because I'm not
negating that.
I mean the girl, like that also depends on the personality of the girl involved.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm also not negating that. I'm not saying that's the only factor.
Oh no,
but I do think that is a large piece of it as well. Not the largest,
no,
but a large.
Like, I know for me, I never wanted to do like my father come middle school. Like, I remember sitting in class, and they split the boys up and they split the girls up, and they asked the girls, who in here wants to marry a man like their father? And nobody raised their hand. I mean, but not one, nobody. And I know my parents were married. I know my friend Tamaya's parents were married. Everybody else, I don't really know up and down. It was a whole lot of single parent households. But I know people, and the reason I say that is because I know two people at my table, and I think two people behind me. A couple people turned and looked at me and were like, really, Siobhan? Because people knew, like, my dad was around. You would see him at the park playing games, playing ball, tennis, whatever, with the neighborhood boys. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I'm good. Because my father's, I am my father's daughter. And I got the attitude. And I was just like, absolutely not. Because by that point, we were rough. But I know that for me, and Boo Friend and I were actually talking about this, as you call him, earlier, because he was talking about and dealing with me. He was like, the problem is, he was like, your friends have done so much for you and spoiled you that it's so hard for me to do anything to match that. And I think, and I have said that. I told my best friend, Cody, I told him that back when we were in like college age. I said, yo, you, at that point, my brothers were Cody, Shatan, Brandon.
Tell him, don't be blaming us for your spoiledness, darn it.
And I was like, not you, my male friends, my guy friends.
Oh, okay. Okay, he can blame.
So he was talking about, so basically Cody, Shatan, and Brandon, and then my friend Will a little bit as well, because he was like, they spoil you. And I remember in college, I was really close with them. And I told Cody, actually, I said, Joe, I really appreciate you, but you know what? Y'all gonna make it impossible for me to ever find somebody. Because, and to what you were saying earlier, and like I was saying earlier, my uncle did this. My dad was the provider. My uncle was a protector. My brothers schooled me. And that's basically been like, well, this person does this, this person does this, this person does this, this person does this. Even when I was quote unquote dating or entertaining guys, I had a 5 lineup. This one is good conversation. This one is good to look at. This one spends money on me. This one does this. This one does it. Like I always had my 5. And it wasn't, I'm being so honest about who I was in high school and college. Like I had
my 20s.
Yeah, my 20s, I was chilling a little more. But I had my early 20s. Yes, this still applies. But I had my 5. I had my roster. And to be honest, 3 of them were my brothers. 2 of them were dudes I was kind of like interested in, but it was like, you fill voids here. And that's not including like this one guy I was friends with, Trey, who has called me his wife since I was like in middle school. He was 3 years older than me. He always took my hood homie, my hood hun. You know, my 3 brothers, my best friend, my 2 brothers. And then there was always like my boyfriend. So I always had 5 that made sure I was good. So I was like, how am I find all 5 of y'all in one person? Like, I don't really know how I do that. I don't really know how do I do that? Like, how do I do that? And then but I think that's what's influenced my relationships and made it difficult because I have been spoiled. And I've been spoiled by so many that it's basically been, and so I guess from a daddy's girl's perspective, it would be what you won't do, my dad will. But for me, it was like, well, what you won't do, my brothers will. I got a friend that will. I'm not worried about you.
Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest things in my dating life. And even when it comes to my marriage sometimes, and I'm laughing because I remember the first few years I got married. And it was like, not that my husband told me no out of selfishness or anything like that. He would just be like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And in my head, I'm like, what? Hey, did you say no? And that, like you said, that was always a thing, especially when I was single, because I also had my best friend, my male best friend. I didn't want for anything.
Not
like,
a thing.
I could go to my male best friend and be like, it's 3:00 in the morning. I want to go downtown. I want a big slice. This Bama loved him to death. Would get up out his bed, come get me, take me downtown, get my big slice, and take me back home. And then he go home. And he ain't live close. So when you have first of all, when you have a father that'll do things like that, I call my daddy, I'm full-blown grown. Daddy, I'm hungry. He send me money. Or I look up, he's standing at my job. Or, hey, babe, like that type stuff. It just happened. It comes with it came with the territory. So when you have things like that you're used to in a lifestyle, when you start dating and you start looking for a spouse and things like that. It's like, this is a standard that I am used to.
Mm-hmm. You gonna have to match this at least.
You can't match this, and that's at minimum.
At minimum.
And I used to say this all the time to the point where my baby sister, who I call my junior daddy's girl, and we have a whole thing. It's a whole thing. She says it just as well as I do. Okay, well, you ain't got to do it. I can just have my default. And I had to learn to stop saying that, especially after I got married. Well, the car broke down. Well, why you ain't call my fault? Oh, well, why you ain't call daddy? And my husband was like, okay, that's your father.
Right. 2,
we're married. Why you didn't call me? Well, I called my daddy, but why you didn't call me? I'm your husband. So it's a transition. But yes, having those benefits, it does. I can see where sometimes it can create a handicap, but and if you, like you said, in excessiveness, it can go to an extreme.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be, and I was brought down a lot, even with me being a daddy's girl. I was brought down a lot of times. It was by my daddy.
I think the other part is with it, and I'll say this from the friendship, because like I said, I have brothers. So for me, as a woman, these are guys I'm not related to. They don't owe me anything. They didn't birth me. They not why I'm here. They are not responsible for me legally. There's nothing I'm really, and they do all this for me, and they don't expect sex. Nothing. And I think that's important. That's why I became who I am as well, because it was like, I saw so many guys, do something for a woman, but they expect. My male friends weren't like that. So any dude, it was like, you got to do this bare minimum. And you can't be here like, well, I did all this for you, so let you get what? Because I could just call Shaitan right now. Let you get what? Because I can call Cody right now. And I can leave. Trust. I can go.
I can get home.
I can get home. I don't have to be here.
I got options.
It's not a problem. I will walk. Trust and believe.
That sense of entitlement, being a daddy's girl, that sense of entitlement is...
But I don't even know if I would call it entitlement. I would say it's self-worth. That sense of self-worth.
I think it's both. I definitely think it's self-worth. And because I know that this is, like we said, it's a standard. I know that. But it could also be a sense of entitlement, because I had plenty of people... Whoa. I don't have to.
And I know, like, one of my best friend who's been, and we actually dated twice, me and one of my best friends, but nothing ever happened. It was real innocent. It was middle school and high school, absolutely nothing. But it was so known that we were just friends that I was the only girl that could stay the night at his grandparents' house. And this was when he had a king size bed and he was living in their basement in a king size bed. So it wasn't like I was sleeping on the couch. No, that was it. Like, he was the only person. My mother knew. I was like, yo, I'm going to be staying with Cody because I have a dentist. I had an appointment in the morning. I was like, it's just easier for me to stay up. She was like, okay. I said, so I'm going to Cody's grandparents' house and then he's going to take me to the appointment. All right. That was it. And this was at 2021. This was at maybe 2021. So, and my mother's, at that point, my mom's thing was, you need to be on your way home by 2 a.m. Because the clubs close at 2 a.m. The only exception to that rule was Cody. The second exception was kind of Shaitan. It was like, well, where are you? Oh, I'm with Shaitan. I'll be on my way home around 3. Okay, cool. That was it. But this was my best friend and my brother. And my mom knew them. I had known them since middle school. It was never on that level. It was never on that line. And because of that, I think that was what I learned was I know my self-worth because the men around me made sure that I knew it. So.
Okay. So all in all, what I think, and I'm going to try to summarize, what I think we're actually saying in this episode of Daddy, Family Chronicles, Daddy's issue being a daddy's girl. Being a daddy's girl is not a bad thing.
Nope.
let's not turn something that is actually a true gift into something toxic. Now, yes, if it's not kept and it's in a healthy place, of course, anything can become toxic.
Right.
But it actually, to me, produces very healthy women. We are strong. Because we are, we have that sense of quote unquote entitlement. We know our self-worth. We have a standard. And for those guys who are out here thinking, oh, this woman is high maintenance or that, and the other, or she spoiled her parents or her dad or uncle or somebody does everything for her. Instead of looking at it in that manner, look at it as she has a hedge of protection around her. This is something that she's used to. And instead of fighting against it, become a part of it. And I think for most daddy's girls, when we are out seeking a partner, that's what we're looking for. Someone who will become a part of it and not try to rip apart what's already in place. So let's get rid of the negative connotations behind being a daddy's girl. Yes, we do know there's always bad to anything, but let's try to focus on the positive, because from a daddy's girl, it's an awesome thing. Annoyingly awesome thing.
I will also add, considering how so many men have issues with quote unquote over independent and modern day women, let me tell you what, most daddy's girls I know have the knowledge and know-how and ability to be submissive.
Yes.
Because you don't have to fight for yourself all the time. So if you want a woman who can play that role, more than likely someone who's had strong men in her life will be that way, because she doesn't have to be superwoman all the time. She didn't have to. She knows when it's like, yo, I can sit and chill but by the same token, then that means you have to step up as a man.
That means there's a requirement, and don't be afraid to meet the requirement. Guys, don't be afraid to meet the requirement. And I think that sums up what you were saying. Don't be afraid to meet the requirement of that young lady, or of that person.
And her requiring you be at a certain minimum level is not her emasculating you. It's not any of that. So for this woman, if she's used to being provided for, protected, everything a woman is supposed to be, why would she expect or require less? And if you really value her, then you will step up and you will earn the right to, I don't want to say replace as in you come and take away, but replace her father and being the first person that she goes to, because that's what it's supposed to be.
Yes. So it should be, you'll be that another, again, you're joining. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think there's another way to say it. But yeah, being a daddy's girl is a great thing. As long as it's treated appropriate.
Indeed.
And on that note, cheers to that. So now that our wonderful glasses are empty or seemingly, Siobhan, what is your rating for your Pinot Gris?
Yeah, so this says,
oh my God,
our Pinot Gris grapes come from vineyard sites near Salem, Oregon. We ferment the wine at cool temperatures in stainless steel, then age it on light lees to preserve the rich aromas and ripe fruit flavors that Pinot Gris has to offer. Let me tell you what, this was a little crispier. Like it said it was sweet, right? When we did the Pinot Grigio versus Pinot Gris, that this was supposed to be sweeter. It wasn't really that sweet. And it had like a crisp bite in it. And I'm guessing that's the spicy that they said that it has. I'm not a fan of the spicy or the the fruit aromas. It smelled nice. And it was a very nice shade. Pretty clear, like a kind of had like a champagne yellow tint to it, but it was very pretty. But I didn't really like, it was okay. I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say about this one. It would be a good, seafood wine, I guess, and a good hors d'oeuvres wine. but nothing to me to write home about. So I'm gonna give it a 3.
Okay, right in the middle. So my Marceau Canale Pinot Grigio Trentino. I love this wine. Again, I had it at the restaurant. This is definitely a 4. I can't give it a 5 because I feel like I haven't had enough wines to say, yes, this is a 5. So I'm going to give it a solid 4 with room to grow. On the back of this, because I don't have my glasses, which I definitely should invest in getting. It comes from a 500-year-old estate in northern Italy. Yeah, I need my glasses. This is small. And it has notes of peach and pear with a clean finish. And it has aromas of apricot. I will say, yes, I can taste every last piece of wine. Really, the apricot, it's very subtle. It's one of those things where if you don't know what an apricot tastes like, you'll be like, I don't know what that is, but I've had it. The peach and pear gives it its slight sweetness. This is not a very sweet wine, but I definitely enjoy it. This, like I said, I had this with my dinner, which was a pasta. I had a chicken Alfredo with broccoli, and it paired with it very nicely. So I think this would go nicely with a pasta, some garlic bread, anything Italian, for the most part, but nothing heavy. Like a lasagna would be too heavy for it. So, just your light pasta dishes. I think this goes really, really well with. So yeah, my rating is a 4. Yeah. All right, now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the sad conclusion of another wonderful episode of A Little Something to Wine About with your hosts, Ty Michelle
and Siobhan Camille.
And please be sure to join us next week. If you want to keep up with us during the next 7 days, look us up on Instagram at A Little Something, the number 2, Wine About. Again, that's A Little Something, the number 2, Wine About. We love to hear what you guys have been drinking, thinking and drinking and sipping on, and let us know. Are you a daddy's girl? Are you a father and you're raising a daddy's girl? We want to know these things. Comment below if you feel we have conversations there too. And as always,
there's nothing wrong with a little wine.
Toodles.